Are you going to apologize to the mother or not?
I don't apologize for success.
You don't apologize for putting her son's life in danger and for putting the mission in jeopardy. Well, that's really disappointing and not befitting the type of leadership that our troops and families deserve. It's frankly a stunning lack of OPSEC. Privates are trained to do much better than that. It was reckless. And it sounds like that accountability doesn't extend as far as the Secretary of Defense. So I think you should resign. The mother says she wants you gone. And with that,
Vindman just told Pete Hegseth something no Secretary of Defense ever wants to hear. A military mom wants him to resign. Her son flew the mission Hegseth discussed on Signal, and she believes he put lives at risk. Vindman asked a simple question: do you owe her an apology? Hegseth refused to answer, refused to apologize.
Back. Chair now recognizes the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Vindman.
thank you, Mr. Chair. I ask unanimous consent to submit for the record an article. A distinguished member of this committee,
Without objection, so ordered.
confirmed that there was, in fact, a pause in offensive cyber operations earlier this year. The SecDef just denied this. This committee deserves to know whether the Secretary just lied. Mr. Secretary, many believed you were underqualified for this role. You've been Secretary for 4.5 months now. For the sake of the American people and our service members, I hope you've done your homework since. Let's talk Indo-PACOM. What year has the Navy publicly set as the benchmark for being ready to fight a war with China?
Well, it needs to be right now. We know what China has said.
I'm glad to hear that, but there is a publicly
right
set date.
Well, we know it wouldn't be
me help you
prudent
out.
for me in this environment to
2027.
reveal when we think we're ready. That's what China has said, and we understand what they're
Secretary,
saying.
I
And
asked
we want to
for
be
a year.
capable and ready for it.
Not a filibuster. 2027 is the year. According to unclassified DoD assessments, how many warships does China have in its Navy today?
Many and growing.
370. It's the largest Navy in the world. How many does the U.S. Navy have today?
Thanks to this budget, it's increasing
It's a number. I'm looking for a
substantially,
number.
but it's just south of 300.
296, pretty close. How many ships is China expected to field by 2030?
I believe that's a classified number, but it's going to go
There's a
up
DoD
at a rapid rate.
CMPR report that was released. There's an unclassified number.
It's going up at a rapid rate.
Let me help you out. 435. Let's see if we do better in EUCOM. What corridor in eastern Poland is vulnerable and a priority for U.S. reinforcements? It connects Belarus to a Russian region.
I'm sure you can tell me.
I can tell you. It's the Suwalki Gap. Which heavily militarized Russian territory connected the Suwalki Gap? It contains nuclear-capable missiles. It threatens all of NATO. It's right there in the middle of Eastern Europe.
I see we're playing a quiz game here.
It's
Ultimately,
Kaliningrad
thankfully,
Oblast.
we're getting
Let me-
our NATO allies to step up in their spending to make sure that they can hold the
Mr.
line.
Secretary, I asked you a specific question. Thank you. It's Kaliningrad Oblast. So what percentage of Ukrainian frontline casualties, let's talk drones, are now caused by FPV drones?
A very large percentage, and we're studying that conflict closely to understand
I hope so.
that fact.
It's over 70%. And which U.S. service has written doctrine or standardized procurement for integration of FPV drones?
That's the Army.
I wish that were the case, but actually the answer is none of them. So we're not prepared yet, and we need to get there fast. Let me turn to a different topic. A few weeks ago, when my office opened up in Fredericksburg, I spoke to the mother of one F-18 pilot who flew the March 15th mission over the Red Sea in Yemen that you discussed over Signal. I spoke to her again on Tuesday and asked her if there was anything she wanted me to bring up. She believes that you need to resign. She also had several questions, but one thing, she said she would appreciate an apology for putting classified information. Her son couldn't even tell her where the Truman was going, but into the Houthi PC small group signal chat that risked her son's life and the mission. Mr. Secretary, yes or no, do you think you owe her an apology?
Please make sure to let her know how grateful we are for the skill and heroism of
I am very much grateful. I'm sure everybody in this room is grateful. I'm proud of what her son has done. The question is, do you owe her an apology for your actions? Are you going to be accountable?
It was an incredibly successful mission. Her son did great work.
They did a magnificent job.
Thankfully, the Houthi campaign was successful.
Secretary, I agree with you. Magnificent job. The performance of those pilots and Navy personnel, magnificent. We're talking about what you did and accountability. Are you going to apologize to the mother or not?
I don't apologize for success.
You don't apologize for putting her son's life in danger and for putting the mission in jeopardy. Well, that's really disappointing and not befitting the type of leadership that our troops and families deserve. It's frankly a stunning lack of OPSEC. Privates are trained to do much better than that. It was reckless. And it sounds like that accountability doesn't extend as far as the Secretary of Defense. So I think you should resign. The mother says she wants you gone. And with that, I yield back.
What you just watched wasn't a routine oversight exchange. It was a full-scale credibility test. And Pete Hegseth didn't just stumble over it. He failed it in front of the one audience he can't afford to lose: military families. Representative Vindman walks into this hearing with a very specific mission: to show that competence isn't optional at the top of the Pentagon. Experience isn't optional. Judgment isn't optional. And the stakes aren't theoretical. They involve the real lives of service members. He begins with something Hegseth clearly didn't want said out loud. His qualifications have been questioned from the moment he was nominated. Not because of partisanship, but because the Secretary of Defense is supposed to be the person who knows the details, the threats, the timelines, the capabilities, the weak points, without being spoon-fed by staff. Vindman puts that to the test by asking the most basic national security questions. The year the Navy expects to be fully ready for a potential conflict with China, the number of Chinese ships, the American total, the Suwalki Gap, how drones are shaping modern warfare. These aren't gotchas. These are the fundamentals. The kind of things a defense secretary is expected to know automatically because they guide everything: strategy, budgeting, posture, readiness. And time after time, Hegseth misses them, not because he disagrees, not because information is classified, but because he simply doesn't know. Vindman has to supply the answers himself: dates, ship counts, geographic choke points, emerging battlefield realities. What we're seeing is not a quiz, it's documentation of a leadership gap. And then Vindman pivots to something even more serious: accountability for a real-world decision that could have put service members at risk. The situation involving sensitive details about a mission being shared on Signal. Vindman doesn't dramatize it. He brings it down to the level that actually matters: the mother of one of the pilots involved. A parent doesn't care about political rhetoric or spin. She cares about whether the chain of command protected her child or exposed them. Vindman tells Hegseth exactly what she told him. She wants him to resign, not because of ideology, because trust was broken. And then he asks Hegseth the most human, most direct leadership question you can possibly ask: do you think you owe her an apology? This is the moment where real leaders step up, not because apologizing fixes everything, it doesn't, but because acknowledging responsibility is the baseline for trust. Instead, Hegseth switches subjects. He compliments her son. He praises the mission, but he refuses the one thing the mother asked for. He won't say the words, "I'm sorry." He won't even consider it. To Vindman, and to a lot of people watching, that's not strength. It's avoidance. Because being Secretary of Defense isn't about winning talking points. It's about owning decisions, even the bad ones. Privates get punished for mishandling sensitive information. Officers get disciplined. And somehow, the leader of the entire department is exempt? That's the double standard Vindman is exposing. By the time he ends with, "I think you should resign," Vindman has laid out the case step by step. Not emotional, not theatrical, just factual, lack of readiness knowledge, a pattern of evasiveness, a refusal to acknowledge mistakes, and a military family left feeling betrayed. This hearing isn't about politics. It's about competence. It's about trust. It's about whether the most powerful military in the world is being run by someone who respects the stakes or someone who's still treating the job like a media segment. If you want breakdowns that don't just replay the drama, but explain the deeper meaning behind moments like this, make sure you like the video, share the segment, and subscribe to Liberal Lens. Because oversight doesn't matter unless the public understands exactly what they just saw and what it means for the people who serve.